2020, and as we know, the 5th generation Toyota Rav4 is among us. And best of all, in 2019, the Toyota Rav4 won 5-star crash test rating. Not to mention, every year it gets better and better. Hey y'all, my name's Hunter. Thanks for joining me again on West Hills TV. Another beautiful day to review a car. So, one of the cool things that Toyota puts in every one of their cars is what is called the Star Safety System. And there's a few things that we'll go through and I'll tell you exactly what they do. But to start with, you have VSC, which is Vehicle Stability Control. And say you're driving down the highway and you have to make an evasive maneuver to get out of oncoming traffic or whatever it may be, and you lose traction, you start sliding. Well, the car has got sensors in the steering, the tires, braking, the chassis, and all that. And when the car senses that, oh crap, I need to move, and you lose traction or whatever the case may be, the car is going to automatically sense that and try to counteract that to keep you more in control of the vehicle and not go off the road. That's just one thing involved in this whole system that really keeps you safe. And also on top of that, you've got traction control, anti-lock brakes, and then another really cool one is what they call electronic brake force distribution. Now what this does is when the car senses, instability in the road and it needs to brake, well, instead of braking all the tires at once, it can brake individual ones just to help, keep you centered and in lane with where you're going. And the last two components about this that are pretty important is going to be the brake assist and the smart stop technology. With brake assist, if the car senses there is not enough brake pressure to successfully stop the car when a crash is possible, the onboard computer will automatically apply the extra braking force needed to safely bring you and the car into a full halt. Brake assist allows you to stop sooner with less distance traveled. Now, with Smart Stop technology, if the gas pedal and brake are applied simultaneously, the vehicle will adapt by decreasing power to the engine. This reduces the load on the brakes, allowing the driver to safely come to a full stop. And to make things even more safe, Toyota now on all RAV4 trim levels has 2.0 TSS, which is Toyota Safety Sense. And there's a few things that involves, but it's pretty awesome. This car just wants to keep you safe, and it just wants to keep you driving, Now, some of these are going to sound pretty familiar from the Star Safety System. They use some of those technologies in junction with the 2.0 TSS. But the first thing is going to be the pre-collision system. And that's going to use the sensor here in the front, and then of course right here in the windshield to alert you to oncoming traffic if somebody brakes and the crash is inevitable or you're about to make contact. So they all kind of work in junction, but that's just going to be there to really help keep you from doing those kind of things, because you don't want to rear end somebody. Nobody does. Second is lane departure alert. When active, the camera located within the windshield will automatically scan the road ahead, keeping track of where the road lines are and where you are within them. If you begin to drift out of your lane, the system will alert you audibly and visually of this deviation to help keep you out of harm's way. And then of course you got automatic high beams, so those will flip on and off depending on if you've got traffic coming at you and if it's dark enough, of course. But just more things to keep you safe, and let's go on to the next. So the cruise control in the Toyota Rav4 is pretty similar to any other vehicle. You hit the button, set the speed, you can increase it or decrease it, but this has one exception to that, and they call it radar cruise control. Basically, with the sensors I mentioned earlier on the front of the car, it's going to read the road ahead of you, and by clicking this button, you can set the distance between where you are in reference to following the car in front of you. So if they brake, you'll slow down automatically. If they accelerate, the car will do the same, but it'll always maintain that threshold that you yourself can hit right here. So the last two features of the 2.0 TSS is going to be the lane tracing assist and the road sign assist. Now the lane tracing, what it's going to do, the camera here mounted in the windshield is going to be looking out in front of us. It's going to sense where the lines are on the road, and it's going to help you maintain a center line right down the center. Now obviously it'll vary depending on your road conditions. If you don't have lines, it won't always work, but it's cool when you need it. And a lot of those features actually need to be activated with the cruise control as well. So if you're going down the highway and you're drifting a little bit, the car will just kind of help center as well as keep the distance in front of you. But the road sign assist, it's just reading out of what's in front. If you've got a 30-mile-an-hour road sign, it's going to pick that up and you're going to get a notification right down here in the centerpiece, just in case you didn't realize it was there. So just a lot of cool stuff to help keep you safer. But let's see what else this thing's got. So now that we've talked safety, let's talk about Driveline here. Let's start with the engine. So each model is going to come equipped standard with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. And basically from the LE XLE and XLE Premium, you're gonna have two options available for the Driveline. You'll have front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Now, the all-wheel drive is pretty basic as far as what other options are available. If you're going in a straight line, it's only gonna drive the front two. As soon as you go into a corner, boom, all tires are gonna be moving. But if you wanna step up from there, you have what they call TV all-wheel drive or torque vectoring all-wheel drive. What this does over the other one is it does put the power all the way around, but this actual system can put more power to specific tires. Instead of just kind of balancing it all the way around, it can do individual stuff to help give you a little bit more power when necessary. That's only going to come on the Adventure, TRD Off-Road, and then of course the Limited. And if you're getting a hybrid model, which is actually got a little bit more horsepower than this model because it's got that extra system in the rear, that comes with electronic all-wheel drive. And of course, it's pretty straightforward. It uses the motor and the battery in the back to power the rear tires, and it does the same torque vectoring as the TV all-wheel drive. But all in all, it's an ingenious system, and it really does a good job. When you're cornering, you feel so planted on the ground, and the confidence this car gives you and the safety, it's unbeatable. This car is outstanding when it comes to its all-wheel drive system. So, with there being plenty of options to keep you safe and planted on the road with all the different all-wheel drive systems, the other thing you're probably going to be thinking about is, oh, passengers, will they fit comfortably? It's kind of a small looking car, but it's so nice. But to be honest with you, there's a lot of room back here, man. I mean, I'm not huge, I'm like 5'10", but I still got almost 12 inches of room in front of my knees here, and both seats are all the way back. And still, I've got another good 6 inches above my head. It's not bad at all, and you can actually adjust the seats into two positions, you know. By pulling the lever here, you've got your first click, which a little more straight up. You gotta give it kind of a smack. Ooh, my hat fell off to get it into the second one, but then you just sit back nice and comfortably. There's just so much room. You don't feel cramped, no claustrophobic. It's awesome, because I don't like that feeling. And with this being a crossover SUV, you're definitely gonna know how much space you got in the back. So let's take a look. And since this is an LE, it doesn't have the power liftgate, but you can get that option equipped in these vehicles. Also with the smart key, if you're in proximity, you got your hands full, you can just wave your foot under the rear bumper there, and the hatch will pop up as well. There'll be a button at the top of the door here, and then one in the front, just to the left of the steering wheel. But it's functional, and it's honestly really nice to have. And not only do you have all this room, you also have more storage underneath, and a spare tire, which comes with your tonneau cover, which is actually a pretty cool feature. Basically, you just pop these little side pieces up, pull out the tonneau cover, which has actually got a spring tension system on the end, so you just kind of push these in like that. But they'll drop into these slots here, and then of course they'll pull out, lock into place. If you don't want it up, you can always take it down, as simple as that. Drop it back into place. It's fully stored. You've got a jack down here, your spare tire, which actually looks to be pretty close to a full-size tire, which is kind of nice to have. And of course, just put these little panels back and you're good to go. On top of that, you've got extra storage here on the side, which comes with a first aid kit just in case you need it. And also, if that ain't enough room for you, you got more things to throw in. You don't have any excess people in the car as well. You can drop these seats down to give you even more room just by the flip of a switch like that. And then of course, they come with the rubber liner like this, and that just helps keep everything secure and less dirty. And they'll both fold down, but then you've got so much more room. You're not gonna necessarily want to throw any plywood in here. And to sum things up, we've pretty much gone through all the safety systems that come standard on this car. We've gone through the rear seats, the front seats, the spacing in the back, and we've talked a little bit about the trims. And you know, if you're interested in a car like this, instead of just necessarily sitting here listening to me, I can tell you a lot of things about the car, but if you really want to know a car, know if it fits you, go sit in the driver's seat, flip the switch, and go for a drive, because that's the only way you're really going to know how this responds. And it's a car that's well-rounded to fit into anybody's demographics. Toyota did such an amazing job putting this crossover SUV together that there's there's no boundaries. You can literally go almost anywhere and do almost anything, and it's really equipped for almost any person. So if you're on my side of the rock, go ahead and check out Heartland Toyota. They'll set you up good, and you know, go for a drive, y'all. It's my last piece of advice, and it's so worth it with this car. So thanks again for tuning in, y'all. I'll see you again. Peace.